Hi Stampin' friends, I hope you're doing well. And I hope that you don't have any need for this stamp set. I hope that you don't need a card made from it, and I hope that your friends don't need any either. But I thought this was a nice set to just kind of have some cards from this on hand when someone gets sick or when you need some sort of encouragement type card. Because the I'm here for you is great for when someone finds out that they're sick or something like that. So anyway, that's my plan for tonight. I didn't actually intend to do it, but I ended up using, on one of the cards, 4 of the retiring in colors. The pale papaya, soft succulent, polished pink, and fresh freesia. So that one, I was like, oh wow, I didn't even intend to do that, and yet that's what I did. So let's get started. I had a little trouble editing because I've just liked several different things. So I hope that you like the ones that I sort of ended up with. I think teapots are a little bit cozy and comforting. So using this tea paper, and this is the one, the back side is just the Orchid Opulence from this year's In Colors. And then this is the back side of the lemon paper. You know, this is one that I could use inside of a lemon card, or I could just use this one that looks kind of like a wallpaper sort of look. Okay, so my plan with this, first of all, is to get my fresh freesia. And this, I'm going to miss this color most of all. I can already tell. If assuming it is not one that gets the what do you call that? Like, it gets to go on. Because it, you know, maybe there'll be a color refresh and it will continue. But this color is so light and so pretty, it looks good with all of the pastels. Okay, so pop that on here. And this set does need to be cut, for me anyway, on the edge. I'm having a little trouble not catching an edge. So that's, you see, I didn't push hard enough because I was too timid thinking that I might catch an edge. So let's see, got another one. There we go. And I'm sure that you're saying, oh, Rhonda, you're not fitting that completely in the square. Whatever will you do? It's not fitting. Now, it is a concern that I get this stamped correctly, but it's actually my plan to have it sticking out of the thing. Just cutting the slit across the top of the Kleenex box. So I do it with scissors. Some people are a little more talented than I am. I cannot get the... and what would you call that? Now, we sell a great tool for this, but most of the time I just use the back of the dimensionals because I know that I'm not going to have any trouble. If it pokes through, it won't ruin anything, that whole deal. An X-Acto knife. I am not the X-Acto knife person. I do better with this because I can tell, I think that I have more to hold on to with a pair of scissors. So you can laugh at me if you want. I totally understand. Okay. And then to make a nice, I don't know if you guys have noticed Kleenexes lately. They're kind of crazy. They've got all this junk in them. I guess it helps them pop up or something. So my goal here is to cut a nice square that is smooth. So I'm using this side. Now you can cut a point in it if you want. I've done that in the past. Or you could just try to use the square. Okay, I didn't care for how I did that. Hold on. Okay, now I've got Kleenex stuff all over my table. Okay, and then what I'm doing is just kind of wadding it up, and I'm going to tuck it under there. So ignoring my little snafu there, you can see that this is actually kind of cuter than just having it sit normally. So, like that, for example. And if, you know, you can put some tape under it. You can work on this a little bit, but you can put some tape to hold it down or some glue dots. Do I have it close enough to keep it nice and smooth on there so it doesn't, so you don't want that to show. So just kind of nudge it that direction and then you'll be all set. And then layer it on here. Obviously, I'm not going to stick it down since I have the little problem. and then mount it on here. And then I think it's probably best to use a circle, and then we'll use our wishing you a speedy recovery or our sending well wishes your way. And I think that kind of, for me, sending well wishes your way is kind of like, you know, get well, you've got a cold, whereas the other one is kind of like you've had a surgery. So there's that. And then I would want to, because, you know, one of the things I think I love most about this paper color, this Fresh Freesia, is the ribbon. So I would want to just put a ribbon either here or up here. Now, another idea that I had kind of later is if you wanted to, you could probably put some ribbon stuffed in there, you know, like 2 pieces overlapped. I don't know if I even made sense with that. Hold up. You know, do it like that and have that be your tissue. Now, in that case, you wouldn't want to have it going outside the box kind of thing. But that's another thing that you can do with the tissue if you're just wanting to make it a little more obvious. And I've got some work to do before I post that on YouTube and my blog, just to get it exactly how I want it. But anyway, I don't like to take your time with that. Okay, next, I decided to do the I'm here for you. So that's kind of like, you don't have anything contagious. I'm here for you because you're ill or you have a diagnosis, whatever. So I did this with the polished pink, and you guys remember this beautiful, beautiful wildflower background. And I thought it kind of, even though they're different styles, sometimes I like to use that because I think it just kind of is subtle and in the background on a stamp set like this. Okay, so I'm here for you. Now with this one, I also, you know, I also like the ribbon in the soft succulent color. So I think I would put that across the bottom and maybe do a tie or possibly do another bow, because, you know, it's hard for me not to do bows. And when the card is pink, it's probably a very good chance that it's going to a woman. So there's that. So something to consider there. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my blends, and I'm going to do some coloring. Yeah. So I'm going to make the light. I'm going to try the light first, and then I'm going to try the dark if it doesn't show up as well as I hope. So I'm just going to do the centers in the light pale papaya. And I can already tell I don't need to do more than 2. I don't want to do these centers in dark pale papaya. And then I'll have to come back and decide what I'm going to make other colors. I'm going to do the polished pink, and you guys know that this isn't going to exactly match this cardstock perfectly, so I kind of hope this one doesn't carry over. I love the color, but they need to be the same. So hopefully that will be one that, I hope we get a nice light pink. Does anybody else have any opinions on things that you want them to have in the new colors? Anything that, I mean, we already know about the boho blue, that kind of a light true blue. But let me know if you guys have any opinions of what we need. I think we need a light, true, clear pink. Not muddy at all, not peach at all, but just a true pink. So, yeah. Yeah, I love to color too, Connie. It's very relaxing. I hope I don't get too relaxed and forget what I'm doing here, but I do enjoy some coloring. Now, the only thing about this that I didn't exactly think about is that these aren't exactly, they're kind of clumpy on here. And what I mean by that is it's got some pieces that, you know, these are the same, these are the same. And so as far as deciding what color to color things, it's a little bit iffy. But, okay. And so now, oh, I didn't finish. Gotta watch me like a hawk. You never know what I'm gonna do. There we are. Then I'm gonna go back in with my pink on these big, these are kind of childlike drawings, which can be kind of fun, kind of just like, ta-da, all done.
And I'm just doing the ones that are the same size, the same color. It might look better if you did a more, more colors. I mean, that could possibly be prettier. Just kind of gonna do some of those because it was getting to be kind of a lot of purple. And then you can see I kind of got out of the lines, got a little carried away. Just gonna color lift right there on the edge. And the only thing I need to do when I'm finished with the color lifter is just make sure that it didn't get into, and it already has there. I'll never be able to show you. But I caught just a little bit out onto the, into the part where I intend to color. So I'm gonna have to go back in gently and not get too close to the edge, and because it can drag back the other way, and put a little more color there. All right. Oh, yes, a clear pale yellow as well. I agree. Tracing over these line drawing stems here. I'm going to do that first. That just kind of keeps me looking where I'm supposed to be looking, I think. Add all the color that I need to add. Might be better if I had used the other end with the nice, that's why I try to keep these unused, because sometimes you really need to be precise. And if the majority of the time when you're coloring, if you'll use that Sharpie tip that doesn't actually go sharp, it's just kind of a little bit blunt. If the most of the time you'll use that, then you'll have this one when you have a situation like this with these little tiny leaves that need color. And it makes it a lot easier to add that color when it's, when you have no choice, but that's the one you need to use. So let me, just a few more. I'm almost done. I know it can get tedious watching someone colors things like this. And I didn't do a great job of using my ink pad, getting it nicely inked. So, you can always go back in. I do this sometimes, and just kind of with a regular Stampin' Right marker, and just put a little bit more color in certain places. I try not to do the whole thing, but the spots that are really light, I'll go back in and just kind of very, as lightly as I can, go over it. Just, just to kind of give it a little more emphasis. Okay, so there is that guy. I think you can see that's colored. I should have made the bow green. That might have made it easier to see the color. So, that kind of is a possibility as well. Okay, so I think I've finished that one. And then now, and I'm just showing you this. I can't wait to color this one as well. I hate to make you sit here and watch me color this, but another colorway for this. And then I have these little, they're made by Mono, the Tombow, the same people that make our Mono Multi Green Capped Glue. And they're so nice. I wish we sold these. I got a little bit of smuts on here, so I'm just kind of scraping that off, and it does a lot of good when you've just got a tiny little piece of something on your sometimes it's ink, sometimes it's just a smudge, and a lot of times you can really get that off nicely when that happens. So there, I think this will be a nice happy one to send when you're wanting to be sure that you're uplifting. And these colors, using the Parakeet Party, it's so aggressive and so happy that I think it's one that, funnily enough, I don't think I need to use the end of it because it's still pretty sharp. But this color is really peppy, I think. And I might need to use a little bit of yellow with this as well. Of course, I'd have to use the daffodil, so it would be aggressive enough. But with this, I think you can see this would be a cute one to use with this, and just make it just really loud and encouraging. So that'll be one that I'll finish before I upload. And then now I'm having a minute. Okay, how I wanted to try this. Okay, the first thing I did with this was I did some stamping, and I just kind of stamped all of these because I was like, what would look good? I can't decide. How do I want to, you know, how do I want to lay out my card? So then I stamped this cute little cup of soup or whatever in green, the Sage Shadow. And then I thought, well, who's going to want green soup? So I stamped just the top part in our Pale Papaya. And I cut it out, just that part there. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my green glue I was talking about earlier. Oops, I got that already dried up. One second. Get that out of the way. And I'm just going to run a tiny strip, if I can. Well, okay, there. Got it now. Now my hand's going to be sticky. Okay, just right across there. I want to be sure and get it in that tiny little strip because you can see how small I cut it. Don't want to have it. And it may squish out a little bit. I can always go back in later and, you know, rub it off and be sure it's all gone. So the main thing here that I want to be sure of is that I let that bottom line of it show. Hold on just a second, let me turn it around. I have it upside down, you guys. Goofy. Okay, I want to let the bottom rim of the cup show, if that makes sense, because I don't want it to appear that I've overdone it. So, and now I'm just taking my fingernail and scraping that off. Gotta probably not have fake nails for that because it would, they would probably be too thick. Okay, so I was real happy with how easy that was to do and how much better I think it looks. And that was literally maybe a 5-minute task of putting that Pale Papaya in there. So then I'm ready to mount it onto my other circle. I'll put that right there. I didn't use an embossing folder on this. I just couldn't quite decide which one, that kind of thing. And then I was imagining this guy just kind of up on dimensionals and then putting my Kleenex over here. And all I did was fussy cut these. And my little flower vase thing over here, just to kind of make it into a little bit of a vignette or something. And, you know, playing with which one is up, which one's on which side, that kind of thing. And then I wanted to use this polished pink to add color to my green container. I'll have to be kind of careful here. It's tiny. Then I'm just going to put them in the little hearts that are in there. And this spoon could be used if you were doing some kind of cooking thing to add some kind of a little made with love to just kind of add to that. So you could use that for something else other than with this set. Now with this one, I kind of feel like it might be best to use our big sentiment, if I can find it, right here. Did I already use this? I don't think I did. The Wishing You a Speedy Recovery. And I don't think it fits on this. No, it totally does fit on that. Oh, I did remember right. Okay, I'm just going to get my soft succulent again. And Wish Me Luck on this. I'm going to do just one more stamping thing. So I do have one more thing to show you of this. Okay, Wishing You a Speedy Recovery. I'm going to try not to get an edge. Oh, I didn't quite get it in the right place, but you get the general idea. I was just thinking that this could be cute to just kind of make it into a little, make that part of that, possibly layer under again with the, oh, and I've got so much glue on my fingertips. Apologies, guys. To put the fresh freesia under it. And then of course, you know what I'm gonna say to finish the bottom. Definitely want to do that beautiful ribbon and then have a, whoopsie, let me lay it in the ink, and then have a tie on it. And what I like to do when I'm cutting ribbon, if I know I'm going to make it into a tie, I always cut the ribbon slantways, diagonally, whatever you want to call that, because that way it's already partially done. And then if it turns out to be exactly the length that I want, I don't have to cut it like I'm about to do right now. I don't have to do that. Whoops, my scissors are getting kind of sticky, I guess. But anyway, there you can imagine that. And then of course with this color, I do think it is great to use as much of what we have with it. Here we have these little guys, the Fun Flower Resin Shapes. This is stuck to this, of course. And I think it would be cute to dot these, especially maybe the tiny ones, just kind of all around here. Or because of the weird way I stamped this, I could put 3 across the bottom, and that would take up the space that I should have, I should have done a better job centering. That's a way that you can, let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. If that happens to you, you can go ahead and add these guys in the space that is left too small. Now I didn't quite get it in the right place. Hold up. There. And then that will fill the space that should have been where the stamp was, if that makes sense. Just have to play with that just a little bit. But, oh, my fingers are so messy. Sorry, guys. Too funny. But I also would want to add, along with this, I'd want to add a few pieces of something that is polished pink. The last thing that I wanted to do was like, what if we didn't do that and we wanted to have our pieces of our little spoon and our little cup of soup on the same paper. So I'm just going to real quickly get my soup cup. And I want to do it down at the bottom. So I'm sorry, guys, I've got to look at this because, yeah, like that. And then I'm going to take my spoon. I think I can do this one, however, because all I want to do with this is make sure that it's kind of angled and just basically on the page. But I think I'm going to catch an edge with this, so probably an upsie there. Yeah, oh well. But you get the idea I was trying to go for here. I'm just trying to show you that that is another way that this doesn't involve any cutting, and all I need to do is trim this. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, where I just need to take the edge and just kind of trim. You can see that it kind of is up a little high on the top, so it makes the stamp just a little bit wobbly, and so the bottom of it just needs to be trimmed off. I usually use my craft and rubber scissors, but you can use any scissors. Just probably you should then, after you've used them to trim a stamp, you should designate that pair of scissors as a stamp trimming pair of scissors, and use a newer pair, like, make another pair be the pair that you use for your cutting and your trimming after that, because it will dull your scissors. But anyway, I think this is a fun way to use this, and maybe if you needed to make several, you wanted to get a bunch of cards out that were recovery cards, that would make that a lot easier to stamp. And of course, it doesn't need to be green, of course. I just randomly chose that. You could do this in a variety of colors and just, color your little hearts and call it good. So I appreciate you all watching, and I hope you have a great weekend. I think we're up for a rainy one, so it looks like a lot of stamping is in my future. Bye-bye.